problem I have from time to time, microphone heights. Good morning, everybody. It's a fantastic privilege to be here in Hong Kong and to be here at the school for this service. I'm struck by the beauty of this monument. Not many schools have monuments to ANZAC. You're lucky to have one, and you're even luckier to have such a beautiful one. This is a special day for Australians and New Zealanders around the world. Hundreds and thousands have already gathered to commemorate those who have fought and died for our freedom and for our security. Nearly every country has a day such as this, and this is our day. It's something that we must do, because we must never forget the terrible cost of the freedom that we enjoy today, that we take for granted. It's hard to think today of hundreds of thousands of young men and women going off to war. Many of them not much older than those of you here in Year 12. ANZAC Day focuses heavily on Gallipoli, but it's about more than Gallipoli. As the centenary, the 100th anniversary of the landings at Gallipoli approaches, as it will be next year, it's very easy to just think about Gallipoli. By the time our troops landed in ANZAC Cove, we had been at war for 8 months. A combined Army and Navy force had already dislodged the Germans from New Guinea, which secured our trade routes in the Pacific. Our Navy, our new Navy at that time, had had its first sea battle when the cruiser Sydney found, fought and sank the German cruiser Emden off the Cocos Islands in the Indian Ocean. Now that battle was very important because close by was the very first convoy of troops that were being taken to Europe. Australian and New Zealand troops. In fact, many of those troops landed at Gallipoli. So you can see that the Navy's been looking after the Army for over a century. But today's not a day to glorify war. It's a day to think and reflect. It's a day to think and reflect about the values of those young men a century ago, and the values of the young men and women who continue to serve our countries in uniform. Yes, it's a day of sadness, but it's also a day of great pride. Pride in the courage and the sacrifice of those ordinary men and women that have given their lives for our two countries. It's very much about who we are as people. We were two young nations. We were prepared to contribute to the empire as it was then. It was a duty that we did that. We were two young nations that took responsibility for our contribution to keeping the world safe, as we do today. But it's not all about us. It's not just about ANZAC. It's about those who fought with us and have fought with us over the last century. The British, the French, the Canadians, the Indians, the Americans, the Koreans, just to name a few. And just as importantly, it's about those who fought against us, for they too were ordinary men and women fighting for a cause that they believed in. And if you look at the relationship that we have between Australia, New Zealand and Turkey, today, I think you can see that even out of great conflict, great respect and friendship can evolve. So ANZAC Day leads us to look back. And there is much to look back on and much to be proud of. But if we are really to understand ANZAC Day, it's about looking forward. For us to take the very best from the Anzacs, their spirit, their courage, their determination, their mateship. And we need to build on that and make our society better, improve our way of life, improve our relations with those around us, because that's what they would have wanted us to do, lest we forget.